Am I the asshole for reverse revenge cheating? I am 25, female. I am telling this story as it occurred at the ripe age of 19. I had a dream about it recently, and it's got me thinking about it again, so here it is. When I was 19, I got my first boyfriend, and boy was I head over heels for this man. I felt I truly loved him and wanted to be with him for the rest of my life. I was 19. He, 18M, was your average run-of-the-mill blonde hair, blue-eyed douchebag, but he was hot, and sleeping with him was the best I'd ever had at that point. We dated for about 6 months or so. During that time, he cheated on me with a total of 5 girls and one guy who was previously my best friend in high school. I mean, he did me so dirty. I spent $200 on Valentine's Day gifts for him one year. He turned around and re-gifted them to one of the girls he was cheating on me with. He assigned each girl a fake guy name and would ask me to drop him off at their houses regularly. Unbeknownst to me, of course. It reached a point that he would take my car to go see them while I worked or slept. Eventually I found out, but ultimately took him back every time because I was genuinely hooked on him, no matter how badly he treated me. I wouldn't admit the true reason to myself until years later, but the reason why. In short, it was very, very big. This all came to light one beautiful summer's day. My best friend, 18F, attended a birthday party for her 2M nephew at a relative's home. I received a Snapchat photo of my boyfriend walking in with a new 18F girl on his arm, who was also related to the 2M birthday boy. She introduced him to everyone as her boyfriend. The photo I received was captioned, "Girl, you are not going to believe what I just witnessed." Coup meltdown. I took it well, I think. I didn't hold any grudges against anyone except for him. Ultimately, these other people owed me absolutely nothing. He owed me his loyalty. Simple as that. He rationalized his behavior by gaslighting. Proper usage check. Me and saying that we were never technically in a relationship, which is technically true. We agreed on not putting a label on things, but we agreed on being exclusive, expressed our love for each other regularly, etc. We were dating, but without actually calling it dating. Regardless, he continued a relationship with his new girl. This girl then went out of her way to harass me for months and basically rub her relationship in my face. She would call me unrestricted to say really mean things to me, poke fun at the fact that I am black and they're both white on social media, talk about how he would never be with a insert racial slur, things of that nature. I mean, she really had it out for me despite the fact that I never did or said anything wrong to her. Eventually, my ex moves to another state, and they continue a long-distance relationship. One day, the new girlfriend calls me to berate me with insults, which resulted in me audibly crying on the phone, to which she and her friends laughed at me and continued to humiliate me until I finally hung up. That was my breaking point. I decided at that moment that I would crush her false confidence by any means necessary. My ex, being the scum that he is, tried to stay in contact with me. I ignored him until I hatched my plan. Then I began talking to him again. He told me he missed me and wanted to see me, and honestly I was dying for a little closure. So I agreed to drive 4 hours each way to pick him up and bring him back to our hometown. Upon arrival, we hooked up immediately in my back seat. We spent the next few days together at my place, being absolute jackrabbits. As much as I hated him, that was the one part I really missed. But don't worry, I had ulterior motives. On the second to last day he was there, he asked me to take him to his girlfriend's house. She had no idea he was in town. We arrived at her apartment complex and hooked up in the parking lot before he went inside. He spent a day with her. Then I took him back home the following day, which included 2 to 3 more quick sessions during the drive. The 4-hour drive quickly turned into 6. I blocked him on all social media immediately after leaving his house. Finally, I could put my plan into action. Every single time I slept with him, I secretly took a photo of him for proof of the act. I had amassed more than a dozen photos, and one particular video where I made him admit that I was the best he'd ever had. 6 years later, this is still true. He still tries to contact me for this reason. I then calmly made a Facebook status detailing every part of the last week I spent with him, attached all of the photos, and put emphasis on some of the awful things his girlfriend said to me previously. I tagged her in it and waited for the eruption. It didn't take long. I watched her scream, cry, and violently throw up on Facebook Live after that. I turned it off after I heard her say something along the lines of, "How could you do this to me? Outside of my house. And with her